with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News NOWCAST.
Good morning and thanks for joining us for the Erie News NOWCAST. I'm Molly Samora. First things first, we want to bring in David Walter to talk about the rain we've been seeing out there this morning. Will folks see that throughout the day?
Yeah, we're looking at rain for the next couple of hours, really, as we go through the morning. It's very gray, very drab out there right now as we check out the bay front. And of course, this is our Oliver's rooftop cam. We are sitting at 46 degrees. Now, we'll get a little period of drier weather, at least as we get into the afternoon. But then once we get towards the evening hours, that's when the lake effect starts to turn up a little bit more. Initially, maybe some rain showers, but as the colder air comes on in, that is when we are expecting more of that lake effect snow. So we'll have a little bit of a break this afternoon, breezy into the evening. The little mixture of rain and snow, and likely becoming all snow as we get deeper into the night. And we're talking about several inches back there into the snow belt, and we're also watching another system next week. And of course, that takes us into Thanksgiving week. So a lot of activity going on, and we are here to get you through the winter weather season. And we're talking about not only the snow for tomorrow, but about winter weather in general throughout the next couple of months. We'll have a round table that is tonight at 6:30 to 7:30 on Facebook Live, as well as ENN Plus, and that is our over-the-air channel 35.3. So John, Sarah, and I will be there tonight to answer your questions and, of course, talk a lot about the snow that we will definitely be seeing more of over the next several months. Right now, temperature-wise, we are in the lower and middle 40s out there, 46 into Erie. We've got 46 down there in Andover, Ohio. That colder air has advanced all the way towards Bradford and Kane. Temperatures will basically level out, if not inch down a little bit as we go through the rest of the day. Right now, we do have a bit of a westerly wind, and as the air does get colder, yeah, that's when obviously we'll be looking for some of that lake effect snow. You can see right now a large area of rain across the area, but notice the back edge starting to move on into Ashtabula. That's why as we get into the afternoon, a lot of this rain activity will be heading on out. And you'll notice that Futurecast giving us that little bit of a break, maybe even some sunshine in there before we get to sunset, which of course is right around 5 o'clock. We head on into the evening and overnight especially. That's when the lake effect snow machine turns on. We'll have enough moisture and certainly enough of a temperature difference between the lake and the air above it to produce some heavy pockets of snow. Waterford, Cambridge Springs, Corey, Clymer, and also into the Mayville area, and even farther south into Crawford County as our winds turn more from the northwest on the overnight. That's going to allow some of those heavier shots of snow into Meadville and even down there towards Oil City and Titusville. But the higher totals will certainly be back there into eastern Erie County, into the traditional snow belt. During the afternoon, things looking a little bit better. The snow squalls will fade on out, and you can see 4 to 8. I've actually upped the totals just a little bit into the snow belt, and now 2 to 4. For the area shaded in blue. I originally had that as 1 to 3 and maybe up to 2 inches for areas right along the lake shore and a bit farther away from Lake Erie down there into Mercer, Venango counties, also into Clarion County, up to about 2 inches or so. And since this is occurring on the overnight into early Friday morning, it will have a big impact on those morning travel plans, so make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, but Sarah Tonks will be in to get you through the weather, and we are certainly looking at some widespread wintry stuff. But for this morning into the early afternoon, yeah, rain showers will start to taper off a bit. Temperatures down into the lower and middle 40s. Crawford County still hanging on to a little bit of rain into the early afternoon. Those showers will continue to spread off towards the east, and we'll even get a little bit of a break into Warren County. Temperatures lower and middle 40s. But we'll talk not only about the storm system tonight, but we've got some more activity next week. That in the 7-day in a few minutes. Molly?
Thanks, David. We begin this morning with the latest developments on a deadly drive-by shooting in the city of Erie. Detectives have been working through the overnight hours to try to piece together what exactly happened. It happened around 8 o'clock last night in the 1600th block of East 13th Street between Reed and Ash Streets. Erie police say a woman in her 30s was reportedly shot in the neck and killed in a drive-by shooting. Family members at the scene say the victim was a mother of 6 and was an innocent victim who was in a vehicle when it was hit with gunfire. We spoke with a neighbor who says her home was shot at several times with the bullets lodged into the side of her home. Fortunately, the bullets didn't enter the home as her kids were all inside.
It's just I was watching TV, and next thing you know, we hear pop, pop, pop. I heard 3 gunshots and a big, huge boom one, like a shot-off shotgun after that. And then after that, it was done.
And as of this morning, Erie police have not made any arrests. Detectives have been working through the overnight hours to try to piece together exactly what happened. This morning, the jury enters its 3rd day of deliberations in the Kyle Rittenhouse's homicide trial. The 18-year-old faces 5 counts, including first-degree intentional homicide, and faces up to life in prison. His defense yesterday asked for a mistrial, saying they had only a lower resolution copy of a video shown in court. This mistrial request is without prejudice, meaning there could be a new trial. The judge says he will rule on the request if there is a guilty verdict. Meantime, the community remains on edge while awaiting a verdict. 500 National Guard troops are standing by if things get out of hand. And here at Erie News Now, we're continuing to make it our mission to help you navigate this holiday rush. And we're less than a week away from the holiday travel rush. From the roads to the airports, things are expected to ramp up. Arlena Jonathan has more information on what to consider when booking your flight for this Thanksgiving holiday.
When it comes to holidays with family and friends, most of us tend to budget the extra money and go for it.
AAA is predicting one of the busiest travel days on record, according to Linda Lambert from AAA. She explains gas prices and airport uncertainty isn't stopping people from seeing their families. But if you do decide to be one of the 53 million people projected to be traveling this year, AAA says beware of airport travel times.
Our advice to our members and to all Americans that are traveling this holiday season by air is be proactive.
With airlines canceling flights and leaving passengers stranded, Lambert recommends regularly checking on your flight and departure times.
At least 24 hours ahead of your scheduled departure, get in touch with the airline and see how things are going with your flight.
This isn't the year to wait until the last minute to get to the airport. With TSA worker shortages and more uncertainty in air travel, Lambert says give yourself some wiggle room.
We usually recommend that you get to the airport 2 hours ahead of a domestic flight. This year, make that 3 hours if at all possible.
That was Arlena Jonathan reporting. And throughout the pandemic, we've seen several shortages at the grocery stores, with it now just being 1 week away from Thanksgiving. If you haven't got all your fixings for your Thanksgiving feast, are you out of luck? Well, I spoke to the folks at Sure Finds grocery store in Warren to see what they're experiencing.
You have certain things that are short on a weekly basis, and then certain things that are going up a lot in pricing too.
Todd Leroy is the owner of the local grocery store in Warren called Sure Finds, and tells me while many box stores are experiencing shortages for a Thanksgiving feast, that's not the case at Sure Finds.
It might not be the name brand, but we're going to have a cranberry sauce. We're going to have your green beans and stuff that you want. It might not be the ocean spray.
Leroy informs me while the prices are up a little, they pre-ordered turkeys in June and July to help with that.
We're still pretty close on pricing from last year. I think we're up like I think it's like 15 cents a pound from last year.
So if you're waiting until last minute to pick up the essentials for a Thanksgiving meal, Leroy tells me you don't have to worry at Sure Finds.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, if they come in all the way up through next week, we should have it for them. Yep. Again, it's probably not the name brands they want, but if you want a cranberry sauce, we're going to have it. Stuffing mix, we're going to have it.
And the COVID-19 vaccination push continues this morning. First vaccination saw a 47% jump, and more than 31 million fully vaccinated adults have gotten a booster. Moderna said it filed for emergency use authorization with the FDA for its boosters for all adults yesterday, and the Pfizer has submitted for EUA for its booster too. The FDA could make a decision on Pfizer's authorization any day, while the CDC's advisors are set to meet Friday to talk about it. But at least 11 states expanded booster eligibility to all adults ahead of the federal green light. Some of the same states pushing back against the federal government's vaccine mandate aimed at companies with more than 100 employees, patients in their hospitals. That's the most they've had seen since December of last year. They say they're managing, but hospitals are usually busy this time of year, and dozens of COVID cases mean staff are stretched thin. So with the holidays approaching, doctors say smaller gatherings can help limit the virus spread. They urge vaccination and say if you're eligible, get that booster shot for an extra level of protection.
clearly if they're feeling sick, not feeling well, that they shouldn't get together with one another. That's pretty obvious. But try to keep your gatherings small if possible, for sure. It can help to reduce the spread in gatherings.
And doctors say common sense is key. We saw a big surge in cases after the holiday last year, and local hospital leaders hope to avoid that this season. And America's drug epidemic is the deadliest it's ever been. That's according to a new federal data this morning. Figures from the CDC indicate an estimated 100,000 Americans died of drug overdoses in 1 year. That's the highest single year total on record. Experts say it's tied to the COVID-19 pandemic and a more dangerous drug supply. Overdose deaths have been rising for more than 2 decades, but they accelerated drastically in the last 2 years, jumping nearly 30% in last year alone. And now this morning, we're turning our attention to our 21st annual food drive for Erie News Now that happened yesterday. Local communities stepped up once again in a big way to support our Erie News Now food drive, in turn helping to feed families here this holiday season. We were live here in Warren, Erie, and Meadville all day Wednesday for our 21st annual food drive. For more than 12 hours, people in our community came out over the region to 13 different drop-off locations to help those in need. In just one day, a total of 30,862 pounds of food have been collected, along with 479 turkeys, including 172 here in Erie, which is an all-time record. The food drive collection of $63,425, which we're excited to note is the second highest total in the past 21 years.
You know, the pandemic affected a lot of people, and unfortunately there still is a great need out there. So, you know, doing this is really just making everybody feel a little bit more normal and really making them feel good about being a part of this community.
And each dollar raised will help provide 6 meals for those in need. Now we want to bring back in our David Walter. David, the weather was so nice yesterday for the food drive, but I don't think we're going to be seeing any of that weather anytime soon.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like we'll have 60s at least over the next several days. Obviously, we can still get those warmer spells as we get into the month of December, but November looking very active over the next week or so. Right now, as we look outside with our Warren cam, we're along the banks of the Allegheny River, and you can certainly see that it is quite wet out there. We're at 46 degrees, still more showers through the middle of the afternoon, but they will be departing, leaving us with a little dry period as we continue into the evening and even part of the overnight, but the lake effect snow bands will start to set up, and we are definitely looking at those accumulations out there in Warren, especially for the northwestern end of the county. So for Friday, we'll have those winter weather alerts going until noon, and then after that, just a couple of snow showers. Saturday looks good as Santa comes to visit the mall, and folks doing the polar plunge this weekend. So the weather will actually be pretty good. Of course, the lake's going to be cold. It's going to be cold in general, at least pretty chilly. By Sunday, we've got 50 degrees. Showers will be moving back into the area. We'll see that rain turn over to snow as we get into Monday. We're generally expecting maybe initially some rain showers, but more snow expected Monday and then even into Tuesday, and we may have some decent accumulations. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated as we go right on through the weekend and over the next couple of days. Molly?
Thanks, David, and we'll be live tomorrow in our mobile storm tractor, making sure you get those road conditions before you head out your door. But thanks for joining us for this edition of Erie News Now. NOWCAST will be back tomorrow at the same time. Our next news is coming up here at noon on WSE. Make it a great day.